Managing Stress Toolkit. There's no shortage of strategies to manage stress, and it can be difficult to know where to begin. So thankfully, we've done the research for you and found the 10 most effective strategies that successful people employ when faced with stress. Some of the topics we'll cover may seem obvious, but the real challenge comes from following through on them, even when stressed. Appreciate what you've got. If only I had a job that paid more. If only I could afford a bigger house. So many of us live in a perpetual state of wanting more, but you need to stop. Research shows that people who take time to contemplate what they're grateful for are happier, less depressed, and less stressed. Here's the science to explain why. Scientists believe that cultivating an attitude of gratitude actually reduces the stress hormone cortisol by 23%. So, how can you do this? Try to regularly write about things you're grateful for in a journal. In one study, a group of people were asked to practice this gratitude exercise every day for a week. Even though it only lasted 7 days, participants were happier and less stressed than they'd been at baseline. Avoid asking, what if? What if statements throw fuel on the fire of stress and worry? Things can go in a million different directions, and the more time you spend worrying about the possibilities, the less time you'll spend focusing on taking action that will calm you down and keep your stress under control. Stay positive. Positive thoughts help make stress intermittent by focusing your brain's attention onto something that is completely stress-free. You have to give your wandering brain a little help by consciously selecting something positive to think about. Any positive thought will do to refocus your attention. When things are going well and your mood is good, this is relatively easy. When things are going poorly and your mind is flooded with negative thoughts, this can be a challenge. In these moments, think about your day and identify one positive thing that happened, no matter how small. If you can't think of something from the current day, reflect on the previous day or even the previous week. The point here is that you must have something positive that you're ready to shift your attention to when your thoughts turn negative. Disconnect. Given the importance of keeping stress intermittent, it's easy to see how taking regular time off the grid can help keep your stress under control. When you make yourself available to your work 24/7, you expose yourself to a constant barrage of stressors, forcing yourself offline and even turning off your phones gives your body a break from a constant source of stress. Studies have shown that something as simple as an email break can lower stress levels. Choose blocks of time where you cut the cord and go offline. You'll be amazed at how refreshing these breaks are and how they reduce stress by putting a mental recharge into your weekly schedule. If you're worried about the negative repercussions of taking this step, first try doing it at times when you're unlikely to be contacted, maybe Sunday morning. As you grow more comfortable with it, and as your fellow workers begin to accept the time you spend offline, gradually expand the amount of time you spend away from technology. Ditch the caffeine. Drinking caffeine triggers the release of adrenaline. Adrenaline is the source of the fight or flight response. The fight or flight mechanism sidesteps rational thinking in favour of a faster response. This is great when a lion is chasing you, but not so great when you're responding to an email. When caffeine puts your brain and body into this hyper-aroused state of stress, your emotions overrun your behaviour. Get some sleep. When you sleep, your brain literally recharges, shuffling through the day's memories and storing or discarding them, which causes dreams, so that you wake up alert and clear-headed. Your self-control, attention and memory are all reduced when you don't get enough or the right kind of sleep. Sleep deprivation raises stress hormone levels on its own, even without a stressor present. Stressful projects often make you feel as if you have no time to sleep, but taking the time to get a decent night's sleep is often the one thing keeping you from getting things under control. Squash negative self-talk. A big step in managing stress involves stopping negative self-talk in its tracks. The more you ruminate on negative thoughts, the more power you give them. Most of our negative thoughts are just that, thoughts, not facts. When you find yourself believing the negative and pessimistic things your inner voice says, it's time to stop and write them down. Literally, stop what you're doing and write down what you're thinking. Once you've taken a moment to slow down the negative momentum of your thoughts, you will be more rational and clear-headed in evaluating their veracity. Reframe your perspective. Stress and worry are fueled by our own skewed perception of events. It's easy to think that unrealistic deadlines, unforgiving bosses, and out-of-control traffic are the reasons we're so stressed all the time. You can't control your circumstances, but you can control how you respond to them. So before you spend too much time dwelling on something, take a minute to put the situation in perspective. If you're thinking in broad, sweeping statements such as, everything is going wrong, or nothing will work out, then you need to reframe the situation. A great way to correct this unproductive thought pattern is to list the specific things that actually are going wrong or not working out. The scope of these stresses will look much more limited than it initially appeared. Breathe. When you pause and breathe, this puts you in a state that allows you to make better decisions and consider the outcomes of your actions before you take them. Imagine your children are refusing to brush their teeth before school. You're about to lose your cool and start yelling, but instead you resist, pause and breathe. After doing so, you feel calmer and clearer. Maybe you've even come up with an innovative teeth-brushing game instead of succumbing to the counterproductive reaction of shouting. The goal is to spend the entire time focused only on your breathing, which will prevent your mind from wandering. Think about how it feels to breathe in and out. This sounds simple, but it's hard to do for more than a minute or two. It's alright if you get sidetracked by another thought. This is sure to happen at the beginning, and you just need to bring your focus back to your breathing. If staying focused on your breathing proves to be a struggle, try counting each breath in and out until you get to 20, and then start again from 1. Don't worry if you lose count, you can always just start over. This task may seem too easy or even a little silly, but you'll be surprised by how calm you feel afterwards and how much easier it is to let go of distracting thoughts that otherwise seem to have lodged permanently inside your brain. Use a support system. Okay, Superman or Wonder Woman, time to accept that you can't do everything by yourself. It's tempting, yet entirely ineffective to attempt tackling everything on your own, and it will leave you feeling, yes, stressed. You need to identify individuals in your life who can support you. Everyone has them, the people on your team, ready to help. Asking for help will mitigate your stress and strengthen your relationships with those you rely upon.